Friends, back again with Pratik for our fan section, and we have two wonderful topics today, Pratik, to discuss. One is current Ashes second Test match going on, and second is India West Indies Test match on, and that Test championship to start. Pratik, about this Test match at Lords, have you ever seen such wicket in Lords?
Yes, I mean on previous two Test series, against India and also previously, again against India. There were lively tracks which were prepared, considering Indian batsmen's weakness against swing bowling. And yesterday, the current Lord's wicket is not as lively as it was against India, but still, it has something in it for the bowlers.
So you mean to say the quality of bowling? I could see that it was unplayable sometimes.
Absolutely. This particular Lord's wicket is a bit dry, and then what we have seen previously, at Lord's. And hats off to Jofra Archer for producing a breathtaking spell. And he was bowling with some manners yesterday. And also, you need to pull your hats off for Steve Smith as well. And after copying a couple of blows, one on the arm and another on the back of the neck, and to come out and show valor, to show courage in front of a partisan Lord's crowd. It takes a hell lot of courage once you get hit on the back of the neck, and obviously it affects you mentally and psychologically as well. And yesterday Justin Langer said as well, when he went back to he was reluctant to go back to the dressing room. And now they have made it mandatory, for if the player gets hit, then he has to undergo certain concussion tests. And fortunately he passed those tests, and he wanted to come back and get his name on the Lord's Honours Board.
Right. And Pratik, did you see that viral video of Smith leaving the balls? It was fun.
That's epic. He has certain mannerisms, he has his own set of idiosyncrasies. But for the last 6 years, he has been a leading run scorer in Test cricket. So that says it all. So there is nothing to say to Smith.
When anything is effective, anything is decisive, it becomes a trend. So you may see players all around the world imitating Smith.
One thing you notice, with the kind of technique that he has, he shuffles across to the off stumps, so that he gets to the line of the ball, and anything that is outside his vision, so he leaves it. So you hardly see him missing the ball. So that's one thing which the youngsters can take into perspective.
And another thing, Pratik, all those who watch a shorter version of the game, I think they must watch this also. Both forms of cricket are entertaining, but this is genuine cricket, pure cricket.
Absolutely, and I think IPL should seriously consider removing the bouncer rule from that particular format. It's an encounter between bat and ball, and it's not a batsman's game. And there has to be some power which has to be given to the bowler. And in IPL, I have seen they prepare quite flat decks, and it's merry for the batsman. So I seriously think that BCCI should ask the pitch curators to make the pitches lively, to make it a more even contest, so that even the plastic spectators, they could get a feeling of a live encounter, which you see in Test cricket.
But the thing is, they always say it's a long subject and different subject, Pratik. But people always go to watch sixes and fours. So it is for them to.
They don't understand that.
Yeah, so that is a different subject. But yesterday's cricket was great fun. That unplayable deliveries. And the way Smith was handling, it was a treat to watch. Even though run rate, as many always talk about run rate, as we last time also said, Pujara is criticized, but look at the rate of Smith also. But if you see the overall conditions, the kind of bowling, and the way he handled that pressure and those swinging deliveries, amazing.
Absolutely. If you look at it, throughout the day, there was some quality cricket on show. Except for the first session, which was a bit attritional. From the second session till the end of the day, there was drama, almost every over. And that 48-minute spell of fast bowling from Jofra Archer, and that was the pick of the day.
Big.
And also, to compliment him, I mean, Chris Wokes. It's a happy hunting ground. Lords is a happy hunting ground for Chris Wokes. Chris also showed his class and showed his skill. He moved the ball late, and that accounted for the tail of Australia. And Cummins was not far behind. He dished out his own set of short pitch bowling to Burns and Denley, which was quite fun to watch as well.
Yeah, and all three results are possible now, Pratik. All three.
I mean, this first session is going to be quite crucial. I mean, yesterday Australia missed a trick. They should have reviewed a couple of leg before decisions.
That is always tricky.
I mean, if they would have reviewed it, they would have got Stokes out. And also they missed a couple of opportunities at slip as well. I mean, David Warner, you don't see him dropping catches. So that was quite strange to see.
Yeah, that is where I want to ask you, Pratik, that close-in fielding, slip fielding is such an important aspect in any test match, specifically in this Ashes when the ball is swinging, and you had the likes of Greg Chappell and Mark Waugh and many other Australian fielders who were extraordinary. And suddenly to see Australia dropping slip catches, it's an area where I think they need to focus.
Probably it was a bad day in the office for David Warner. I mean, he's probably one of the safest in that slip cordon, and also they missed Steve Smith as well. Normally Smith stands at first slip, and he's an excellent slip catcher as well. So I mean, it happens on some occasions. I mean, your mind is quite not there, and also Warner has been suffering a bit of a slump in form, so that might have affected him mentally as well. So his mind must have been in batting and sorting out the batting woes. That could have been one of the possibilities. And also yesterday Shane Warne was. I mean, I am not a slip catching expert, but Shane Warne made a very valid point yesterday that, I mean, if you are taking low catches and along with your hands, your head should also go in the same direction. And I mean, if you look at that particular catch of Joe Denley, the hands went low, but the head remained still. So that also has an impact whether or not you are able to catch the ball.
Right. Pratik, I will put my money on Australia. Australia is likely to win. What's your take?
I mean, see, if England have quite a long batting order, they bat quite deep. They still have got Bairstow, Wokes to come in, and I mean, this partnership, if they can get 100 runs in the first session, then it could make things quite interesting.
Right.
And I mean, the pitch is not getting any better, so there is a lot of rough outside the left-handers off stump, which Jack Leach can exploit. So I mean, if they get around 170, 200, I mean, we could be for an interesting match.
Right. Now,
Australia are slightly ahead 60-40 Australia.
60-40. Okay. Now back to India's test match against West Indies. The first and foremost question is, what will be our 11?
See, the bowling picks itself. I don't think there is much scope for experimentation.
What are those?
Bumrah, Shami and Bhuvneshwar. I mean, these three will play and complemented by Ashwin and Ravindra.
Right.
So India will go in with five bowlers, five specialist bowlers. I mean,
who is the fifth one?
Jadeja, Ashwin, Bhuvneshwar, Shami and Bumrah.
Okay, 5 bowlers, right. And then one wicket.
The middle order picks itself. I mean, I know in the media there is a huge question mark over Ajinkya Rahane's form. But I think the captain, before heading to the West Indies, he has backed him. He said that Rahane is one of their pillars in Test format. So he will. I hope that he gets the first bite at the cherry. Bats at number 5.
So you mean to say KL Rahul, Mayank Agarwal,
Pujara, Kohli, Rane.
This is your batting line.
Pant at 6. That would be tricky, But Pant, with his performances in England and Australia, is just ahead of Wriddhiman Saha, but Wriddhiman Saha is a better keeper than Pant.
But to keep Rohit Sharma out of the team after this form in World Cup, of course, 2 different forms of cricket. But still, sometimes we tend to get pressurized by the audience and people, cricket lovers, who say Rohit must be there in Indian team. then that will cut down one bowler. If you, or Rahane's place may be given to him, and he has already scored a half century in the warm-up match.
See, if you look at Ajinkya Rahane's conundrum, it all started in that Test series against South Africa where he was dropped, where he shouldn't have been.
Okay.
Rahane is a confidence player. Also prior to that in one day format as well, he scored 6 to 7 consecutive 50s, and after that he was dropped. So obviously it has an impact on the confidence of the player as well, So then the player starts to doubt himself, whether I'm good enough to play at the international level or not. And again, that also transforms into his technique as well. Because if you look at Rahane over the last 2 years, and he looks shaky on the crease.
Right.
And that has never been the case with Ajinkya Rahane. He's a free-flowing batsman. If you have watched his inning at Lords or at Melbourne, where he scored that majestic 146, he was quite free-willing and free-flowing.
Yeah.
And but now if you look at Rahane, current Rahane, he looks a bit shaky at the crease. The captain and the coach should go to him and say, look, you are our vice captain, you will be given a long rope, you will be given 5 to 7 test matches, just go out there and play freely, play your natural game. And when that will serve better for Indian cricket as well and for Rahane himself.
Yeah, but another thing, Pratik, playing West Indies in West Indies with the crowd backing may not be easy. And yes, their batting seems a bit shaky, but about bowling, we have seen in a couple of series, bowling is outstanding. And it will be difficult for us to negotiate this fast bowling. And especially for that, Rahane is required. This is what my personal opinion is.
Talking about Rohit Sharma, he has already been given many chances at test level, but he has not fulfilled his potential. The problem with him is, he needs to tighten his technique.
Yeah.
And he's quite loose outside his off stump. With that in one day, as only one slip in the first 4 or 5 overs, and after that, if the conditions are not suitable for fast bowlers, then I guess the captains, they are a bit conservative. They don't put any attacking fielders.
Right.
So that's where he gets lucky. Even in the World Cup, if you would have seen, there were catches dropped at the start.
I know.
And also if you compare Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, if you watch his innings, he plays along the ground. Whereas Rohit Sharma plays expansive drives. He plays on the up, which may not be the case in Test cricket, because if you look at the red ball, it swings much more than the white version. So that is where if Rohit Sharma has to make a name for himself in Test cricket, then he will have to bring patience into his game in order to succeed at the highest level.
Even Pratik, Hanuma Vihari has played well abroad. Even whenever there is a choice in selection, his name will be also in the front for Test cricket, right? So when especially this fast bowling of West Indies is, I think, you must have heard Holding sharing something yesterday about West Indies fast bowling.
So he basically he gave one account, of the 1970s and 1975 when Jeff Thompson. He was bowling to Kalicharan. He bowled a deadly bouncer to Kalicharan. He got knocked on his head. He got hit on his head, and there was blood everywhere, on the pitch, and also on the popping crease. So he got retired hurt. Kalicharan got retired hurt, and the batsman that came after him, Jeremy Murray. I don't know if I got the name correct.
Derek
Murray. So Derek Murray, he came and he marked his guard on that blood-stained crease. So that must have been really frightening, if you're the batsman coming in to see blood on the wicket.
Right. So that part is there. Now about that World Championship, would you say in brief what is it about and what are the point systems and?
So it's a good addition. They have tried to add more context to Test cricket. Especially for these kind of series like the India West Indies, the India Bangladesh, which doesn't attract that much crowd. I mean, the series like the Ashes or India Australia or India England, I mean, those are, you know, it's often self-marketed product. You don't require explicit marketing in order to market India Australia or India England or an Ashes series. But you know, in order to promote Test cricket, you know, for the countries, you know, which are lying at number 4, number 5, India, West Indies, because India with West Indies is one country where I guess the crowd has become more sparse and sparse, you know, with the decline of West Indies cricket. So it's a good addition.
Right.
But obviously it requires more fine tuning, and it's still raw. But what they have done is they have kept the number of points constant. 120 points. So with 120, if it's a 2-match series, then that 120 points get divided into 2 test matches. If it's a 5-match series, then 120 points gets divided into the 5. It's divided into 5 test matches. So if you win a 2-test series, 2-match series, then you get 120 points. And if in a 5-match series, you know, if you win it 2-0, then you only get about 24 into the 48, and you draw. And for a draw, you get I guess 20 points. So 58, 68, 78, or around 108 or 118 points. So obviously, you know, if the team playing a 2-match series has an, you know, additional advantage over the ones playing 5-match series. So that part it requires a bit of fine tuning, but it's a good addition.
Good addition.
Test match cricket.
Another thing is winning at home and losing away will not do anymore now.
Absolutely, and also it will remove the dead rubbers which were like for example in the 3-match series, if a team wins 2-0, then also that 3rd match will have a context to it, but there are points to play for. So that will also make things interesting.
Yeah.
And I think for India, these two matches, and also the 2 matches against Bangladesh, you know, if they have to reach the World Test Championship final, then I mean these 2 series will be crucial. And I am going for a 1-all series again, 1-all result against the West Indies, because West Indies have a very good record at home. They just beating, they're coming on the back of beating England 2-1, and they drew against Sri Lanka, and they got one match against Pakistan as well. So I mean they have a very terrific record at home, and also I mean they have got a variety in their bowling as well. You've got Shannon Gabriel and Roach, who are a formidable fast bowling pair. Then you have got the support cast in place as well. Jason Holder has been terrific. And also the pitches in the West Indies nowadays are quite lively. It's not the old West Indies tracks, you know, where it's slow and dry. So I mean the pitches are conducive of fast bowling, so which will make things more interesting.
Right. So very nice discussion, Pratik. But just one thing I would like to share with you, people of your generation, that the way Smith was leaving the ball, it somehow reminds me of Glenn Turner. I haven't seen Tiger Pataudi much, but people say his style was also like that, to leave the ball. I watched him only in that 75 series when he was out of sorts. But Glenn Turner used to say, I would like to urge the viewers, if you agree or disagree, please comment on our video on our channel. Do you see, of course, he has made some modifications in it and make it look funny, but the style is very, very effective, and it has been already used in the past. If you agree or disagree, please comment. Go to our Sports Nasha channel, like it, share it, and subscribe our channel. Thank you.